Hey, good evening, YouTube. Before I get into this video, I just wanted to explain a couple of things that went unfilmed. I did actually film a couple of bits, but I just don't feel like it's worth it to put it into a actual video. So instead, I'm just going to show you what I did because it's all temporary. So first off here, you see this shelf. Whoa, let's get that back in focus. This shelf here is, I did build that in a previous video, so when you see that, that's a temporary shelf. Ultimately, I'm going to build some aluminum framing in there. It's going to look all nice and pretty. And then I also got the windscreen installed, and I used toilet quarter 20 toilet flange, or toilet T-bolts rather. It's what you use to put the toilet to the hole in the floor that goes to your plumbing. Those T-bolts are what I used on the bottom side of the windscreen, and I ground down the edges to basically make it fit in the channel, and I used a few of those to put the windscreen on. Having the windscreen is amazing, and once I actually have a remote steer motor on the boat, that will make life a lot easier and a lot more comfortable in the future. Also, I wanted to thank everybody, all of the new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. That really does mean a lot to me. And I really hope that you enjoy the content that I put out, and I hope that my boat builds and automotive projects, and maybe even eventually I'll start filming my house projects, although those are so sporadic when I get to work on them, so well, all of them are. But anyways, thank you so much for subscribing, and let me know in the comments if you want to see any details on anything else that I've done. Occasionally I do work off camera, but I try to film almost everything that I do. So, let's get into today's video. Hello YouTube, and welcome to another cringy episode of Fittest Mods TV. Tonight working on my 2007 Minn Kota Terrova, and when I first got it, put it in the water, it just soaked water in. Actually, it didn't even work when I first got it because it didn't turn at all. It was so full of rust and corrosion, as I mentioned in my last video promising this rebuild video, and today we are going to be rebuilding it. I've pulled quite a bit of water out of it every single time I've had it in the water since I bought it, and the seal kit finally came in after my fishing trip that I did 2 weeks ago. So I guess it was maybe, I don't know. Anyways, so we're going to disassemble this, well, finish disassembling it, and go through the seal kit. This is already kind of disassembled, so I'm going to walk you through the first 3 steps. It's very, very easy. Normally, this is all together, and your prop is right here. You undo the nut on the front of the prop, and then take the propeller off. Then there's this key pin that goes in a hole on this, which normally fits into a slot on the back of the prop right here. You take that key pin out and your nut, and you don't lose these. You put them inside of the prop. Then, holding on to the back, because this cup will just straight up fall off. Ask me how I know. Remove 1 bolt, 2 bolts. Back cup comes off. Set this off to the side. I just set it inside of the propeller like this. And then a bushing might come out of the center of the cup here. I just put that back for safekeeping. The bearing should stay attached to the rear of the spinny center part of the motor that I cannot remember the name of right now. Armature, that's what it is. The bearing should stay attached to the armature. Then, just with a good solid man tug, the armature comes out. Now, as you remember from my last video, this used to be abso-freaking-lutely covered in rust. It is no longer, and actually it's been working pretty well. So, I'm not replacing this. I'm only replacing anything that is a bearing, bushing, seal, and brushes. Like basically all of the moving parts are getting replaced. Any moving part that touches anything gets replaced. So this, set it off to the side, don't let it drop on the ground. Next, I gotta open this up and find out what's in it and where I want to start. Oh yeah, one more thing with disassembly. Sorry. There is right back here in the center. Sorry to not show that. There's this piece of metal that splits the red and the black wire on either side of it to protect it from the armatures spinning. So you want to slide this out, and you will note that there are little wings here and here. That is the back side. The side that doesn't have wings and has kind of got a tapered front end is the front side. So when you go to put it back in, tapered front end, part that's easier to put in, goes in. If you can't fit it in, you got the wings on there, then you're putting it in wrong. You can't screw this up. This whole thing is really, really easy to work on. I've literally had it apart once before this. Super, super easy. There's nothing to it. As I suspected, that is not happening tonight. That's the new brush housing. It comes with wires that go all the way through the prop shaft to the, not prop shaft, whatever, the long shaft that goes up to the head. These wires go all the way through the head up to that, so I'm gonna have to take that apart and solder this. I do not feel like dealing with that tonight. Looks like the rest of everything else came in. Oop. I need this. The rest of everything else came in a bag. I am going to take a picture of the invoice. Looks like I have 2 bushings here that I ordered. Ring seal for front and back caps. A brass bearing that will probably need to be greased, which I have some. The roller bearing, which goes on the back of the armature right here, and a few other washers and bushings and a little O-ring that I'm not exactly sure what that does. But as I find stuff that little stuff that comes out, this, like, I ordered everything that was less than $5 on, actually, let me see here. What's the most expensive thing on here? I ordered everything that was less than $5 plus the brush housing that was on Minn Kota's parts list for this motor. That should be everything. The whole thing cost me like $45 plus shipping. It was not expensive at all. First things first, looks like I'm going to have to take the brushes off. Okay, now you can see the old brushes. They're in very, hopefully that's all in focus, but they're in, this whole thing is a just rotten, crappy mess. The bolts are rusted from sitting in water. All of the copper wiring is very corroded. The brushes are chipped and kind of in not so great a shape. I did clean them up when I rebuilt it the first time just to get it running again so I could get out on the water. But we're gonna properly clean all of that up, and it looks like I need to hit the inside of this with a wire wheel too, so we're going to do that as well. That is an 8. I will be right back with some tools. That is also out. Good. Nothing broke. Yay. Things break with impacts. And I use the impact a lot because it's a lot easier. So there's the crusty, rusty backside of that. Inside of there looks pretty atrocious, so I am going to I'll get a magnet. I will see if it's cast or aluminum. Yep, it looks like I'm painting that because it is quite corroded in there, and I want to get all that corrosion out, so I'm going to take this down to bare metal in here. That is actually substantially better. Not perfect, but better. I can live with it. This is one seal that I can definitely tell you has failed off the front cap. It just goes right around here. Alrighty, here we are back on another day. Decided on the last one that it was just going to end up taking me a lot longer than I had originally anticipated due to the extra corrosion in the front cap. So I decided to call it quits for the night and instead of rushing it, actually do this properly. Alright, so it looks like this thicker of the washers. Wait, is it the thicker or the thinner there? Dang it. I'm gonna say it's probably the thinner one there. Goes on the front of the prop shaft. Right there is a metal washer that I apparently did not get. I said I was going to do things right and not rush it, and here I am not doing things right and rushing it because I am being pretty impatient with this. Kind of over it. Quite sure how this bearing is held on here. Well, that was not the right thing to do. I'm just going to run the old bearing too. That's really annoying. Here's the new brushes and wires. And here's the old brushes and, well, not the wires because I cut the wires off. Now I know why the wires wouldn't come off the old one, because they're soldered on. Yeah. It was time. And one quick note, you know which way is the front by which way is longer on the head here. Great going, Steven. Way to not pay attention to which side is which on any part of this assembly. Can you even see what I'm doing right now? You can kind of tell, or you can tell which way is the front by the longer end of the head here. And you need to feed the brushes in from the front because that's where they go, is in the front of the lower unit. Great going, Steven. Way to not pay attention to which side is which on any part of this assembly. So inside of here, there's two P-clamps that hold the wires, and the wires go down through the tube. And underneath these blue sleeves is the connectors that come apart. They're just blade connectors. Very easy. That's almost caught fire. Oh my gosh. It's kind of hard for you guys to see, but there is this ground wire is quite corroded. It was melted at the terminal. So that's the install of the new brushes. Okay, well, the front brass bearing is not coming out of the, I guess it's called the brush end housing. I just looked up the price online for 20 bucks. I'm going to save myself a lot of hassle, and I'm pretty sure I just damaged it anyways trying to get it out. So, and it's also really, really corroded. It's just going to be better for me to put a brand new part on here. So that is what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, it's not, I can't use the boat for the next week or maybe 2 weeks anyways. So I'm going to get that ordered, and as soon as that gets in, we'll finish this thing. Gotta love old stuff. Still got this for a great price, I think, and I was expecting that to be like an $80 part, but it's only 20 bucks, so that's whatever. All right, we will continue working on this when that comes in. All right, good morning. We are here day 3 of working on this trolling motor. It's supposed to be a simple project, but it's taken me a little while to get parts and also have time to work on it. So I got the new front cap housing in, and it actually came with the bearing and both seals already installed. So for 20 bucks, I should have just done that to begin with. Also was looking at this last night, and inside of here, this is the back of the housing. And inside of here, you can see there's quite a bit of corrosion. So I think I'm gonna hit that with a wire wheel and blow that out. And then I might hit it with, actually I probably will hit it with some spray paint just to keep it from corroding any further. And then should be able to get this all back together today. Also have a few other projects I have to work on around the house. Been remodeling a bathroom. But going to get this all put back together today, and that way I can get out on the water maybe tomorrow, probably later this week though. We'll see. Okay, so I have hit this with a wire wheel, cleaned it out with denatured alcohol, and then put a coat of spray paint in here. I'm waiting for that to dry. It might take a little while for that to dry. So in the meantime, I'm actually going to Okay, so this paint has had long enough to dry, and so I'm going to get the new front cap reassembled here. Oh, these are self-tapping. That's why they sent new ones. So first off, make sure that you've got the brushes facing the right direction, which is inside like this. So the wires go towards the arm, and then the brushes face the armature of the motor. And then you're going to use the inside holes, not the outside holes. Alrighty then. Great going, Steven. Way to not pay attention to which side is which on any part of this assembly. It's like something's not lining up here. Yeah. Most freaking definitely not lining up. I'll get something right one of these days. All right, armature. No, not the armature. The wire guard. First, armature. Oh gosh. Trying to get the brushes over the armature. There we go, that fits much better. Okay. Shoot some white lithium grease into the rear cap here, right down into where the bearing sits. Bolts going all the way through. There's that. Okay, finally. Now we put the pin. Prop goes onto the prop shaft. Washer, nut, and I guess I'm using a ratchet to do this. All right, so that does it for today's chaotic video. Got the trolling motor all fixed up, except for I've got to reconnect a wire up top that came off, and got the boxes shortened down. I'm going fishing tomorrow, so Hopefully everything works out exactly as I've planned it out to be, and hopefully the trolling motor is now sealed, not seized. Hopefully it's not seized. It was spinning just now. Hopefully it's sealed though, that way it's not leaking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.